700 horsepower out in front of that cockpit, swinging a 13-foot 2-inch propeller. And the reason it's been winged is because of that giant propeller on that engine. To come aboard and launch off of aircraft carriers, they needed a very, very rugged gear. And they couldn't do it under the normal circumstances because of that large propeller. It would hit the deck. So what they did, they built a beefed up landing gear system, put it very close inboard, and then bent those wings out to give it that look. And that's how they arrived at what was nicknamed the Ensign Eliminator early on because of so many ensigns busting out of the program. 18-cylinder, 2,700 horsepower. Had a top speed of about 480 miles an hour and could climb to 41,000 feet. It had 6 50 caliber machine guns and carried 2,400 rounds of ammunition. Now this particular aircraft, the Korean warrior, was aboard the USS Boxer, CV-21. The squadron was known as the Bitterbirders. While in Korea, the Bitterbirders flew a little over 1,500 missions. They dropped a little over 750,000 pounds of bombs. In its service, the first Corsair did in 1942, and although it was designed from the get-go as a carrier fighter in the initial operation from carrier decks, proved a little troublesome. This, together with poor visibility over the nose of it, gave it a nickname of hose nose. Most of the airplanes were operated by the Marines off land base until they did go aboard the carriers. Inverted and a nice little roll there. Corsair was able to outperform the primary Japanese aircraft in its core set was the Mitsubishi Zero. It could outturn, the Zero could outturn the F4U at slower speeds, but the Corsair was much faster and could climb very much quicker than the Zero, as well as could outdive the Zero. Performance advantage combined with the ability to take an awful lot of punishment there from Japanese guns. It meant that the pilot could place an enemy aircraft in the killing zone from those 60-50 cals and keep it there long enough to inflict major damage with all those 2,300 rounds carried by it. Jim Tobul, like I said, from Redmond, South Carolina. Very, very nice low roll there. Japanese call it whistling death because there are some oil cooler inlets in the leading edge of the wing, and when the aircraft is in a high-speed dive, at very high speeds, it begins to whistle. And the Japanese on the ground were extremely afraid of the aircraft because of its killing power with those machine guns and that awful sound that it made. It's a high-pitched whistling sound. Here comes Van Johnson in the Twin Beast, ladies and gentlemen. Beach 18. Nice round of applause. Does it so well in a corporate aircraft. Okay, in from the left, once again, Jim Tobul in the Corsair. Nose comes up. 4-point hesitation roll, stopping the aircraft every 90 degrees around the mountain. We'll set up for a photo pass for you. And then it will be the class of 45. I'll tell you about it momentarily. Really, until you get up close to the airplane, you can't appreciate that giant propeller on there. Gearing flaps are down for what we call dirty pass. We'll be able to get a close-up view of the configuration. Big flaps on the airplane. Come aboard the carrier, we look just exactly like this. We'll be looking at the LSO, those flags down there, outstretched arms. Coming, you can even see the tail goes down, right by the tail wheel there. We come aboard the boat. Everybody except the flyers called it the ship. For the flyers, it was the boat. Today's LSO is still out there, but he doesn't use the flags. They use what they call a Fresnel lens, which the pilot can line up with. And he says as he turns final approach there and establishes himself on a glide path towards hopefully the number 3 wire aboard the boat, he says ball, meaning that he's got the ball in sight for the landing angle, and gives his fuel state and tries to snag the number 3 wire. If he misses, it's called a bolter, and all naval aviators and marine aviators, once they hit the deck of the boat, they go to full power with their throttle to make sure that if the wire would snap or they miss, that they can safely execute a go-around.